For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast. For 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games many combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation. We really should change that. It's
Might be 12
certainly
now.
more than that now.
Might be 12 now. A year's passed. It's now 12.
I'm pretty sure it's 12. It's at least 12.
But this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturists, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you're listening to us on podcast services, but leave 5-star review, etc., etc. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popculturists, while our merchandise store, popculturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Welcome to the new year, everyone. It's only a week later, but I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the new year. Happy New Year, Max. Or you've been just talked to off screen?
No, oh my! So, fun fact: the reason why we're recording late tonight is because
For those watching on Twitch, we are a half hour late.
My children decided to both wake up at the same time. Hadley's bedtime's normally 7:30, and her and her mum got into a little bit of a tiff because Hadley was picking her nose, and Ali wanted her to wait for a tissue. So she's like, "I don't want mum anymore. I want dad." I'm like, "Okay, I'll come and lie down with you." And we're lying there. She's like, "I've got to do poos." I'm like, "Okay." Gets up, and then Ali came in about 5 minutes ago. She's like, "Oh, I could take over if you want." I'm like, "All right, just to let you know, she's already done poos, apparently." And Ali's like, "What do you mean apparently?" I'm like, "Well, she sat on the toilet for like 30 seconds, really quickly flushed the toilet, ran and washed her hands and said, 'Okay, I'm ready for bed.' She's now on the toilet again, retaking the dump that she told me she took.
Retaking the correct dump. Okay. Yeah.
So I can hear really strange noises coming from like behind me where the toilet is, and my wife's holding her hand while she's sitting on the toilet.
Love it. Absolutely love
and
it.
Fun fact: that's not the first shitting story that I'm going to talk about tonight on the podcast.
We're back when there's poo stories happening. That's exciting times. That's absolutely exciting times. But yeah, welcome everyone back to New Year. As you would have seen on the YouTubes and some of our socials, I have done the rebrand that we said that we were going to do. We were gonna put everything back. Sorry, not everything back. Move everything to For the Players as the key branding across what we do, and the reason being is, the PopCulturists as it stands, which is a brand that I have made. I don't know a decade ago at this point. What?
Sorry, I looked across and my daughter's just mooning me from
Awesome. Yeah, so it's a brand I made a decade ago when we did a lot more variety in our content. There was the movie show, the gaming show. We talked comics, we talked TV, we did the wrestling show for a while. But over the last couple of years, it's pretty much just been this. So I was like, well, why are we not just doing that? Like, it'll help with search. It'll help with pretty much everything. So why the hell are we not doing that? So I did. Originally I was like, brand recognition. And then I realized that even with all the years we've been doing this, no one knows who we are or really cares. So we could kind of do what we want. So I am. So we are.
Why not?
And look, what's one of those things? We've been doing this for so long. Maybe we can get a second resurgence out of this. Who knows? It's very unlikely, but maybe we could. Who knows?
This could be our renaissance.
This could be our renaissance. This could, this could be our Star Wars sequels. It's not a good reference. But But yes, so back in the new year, how was your break been, Max? How'd things go?
So I had the 9. Fun fact, just while you were doing that little speech, I downloaded the entirety of Cyberpunk 2077.
Hey,
you
nice.
talking about it has reinvigorated me to actually play through it now.
Oh, I'll talk about my run with Cyberpunk 2077 shortly.
As for my break, I had the 9 days off between Christmas and New Year's, and I did 3 days of Christmas. 3 days of Christmas is bullshit, and I never want to do it again.
Yep.
And I didn't feel like I really got a break.
Oh, no, I feel that. So I'm in the same boat. So with my job, I had 2 days off, which was Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and then New Year's Day, and that was really about it. I worked all weekdays throughout that time. It felt like I really didn't do any breaking at all. So I'm still just as exhausted too. Woo! As you can see by my yawning as we record this.
Oh.
But yeah, look, I'm in the same boat. Christmas was cool. So I had my son for some of that time, which was lovely. We did the first big Christmas here at this house. So I've been living in this house for 2 years now, which is exciting. This is the first time we had everyone we had here. So we normally go to my dad's. My dad's like, I don't want to do it at my house. Come and do it at your house. Deal. So he came over and he did all his incredible cooking that he does. And, we had the outside looking all lovely, which is very cool. And we did New Year's, which was the same as last year. It's very similar, just very like chill and a little thing in my courtyard. Nothing too exciting. And then like not as much gaming as I wanted. Obviously, working sort of got in the way of that, which was a bit poo. But I did dive into some games over the break, and actually, before I get into that though, like there is some little Christmassy gifts that I did get that are gaming related that I want to share while I can. So one of the first ones. Oh, you want to go first because you got yours there?
I'm just sitting here. I got these.
So they are PlayStation speakers with water in them, but the idea is that the water in them, it lights up and it responds to the audio. Yeah,
so it's got a microphone in it, and it'll pulse with the music.
Nice.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
And because they came from Nanny K, your mum. And in some random shopping where she lives in Queensland. She was going to send me one as well. However, like they couldn't. She went back and they weren't there. It was like some rando like NQR Clint like setup.
TK Maxx.
I don't know what that is. But as I mentioned, so I got some very on-brand Christmas presents. So my partner Phoebe, she had purchased this for me, which is let me do this. This is the God of War Lore and Legends book. So it's made after, I think it was, the idea is it's released after the first game, so God of War 2018, and it's written it's written as if Atreus was speaking to the author, and they talk about everything that they do during that journey from from the shack all the way through to Jotunheim at the end of the game. So it's awesome in that perspective. You get some really cool insights from Atreus and all the little creatures, little extra details. The book is, it's kind of this raised material, so it looks like the ogre skin, and it's got the big yellow hand on the front, the Omega symbol on the back. It's awesome, so it's kind of done as if it was some sort of some like written book. So they've got the seams in the middle to make it look like a bound book. All the drawings are kind of look like those charcoal-y sort of drawings that you would see, I guess, similar to that of Leonardo DiCaprio's booby picture of Kate Winslet in Titanic. That was a charcoal drawing. That was lovely. The drawing, not the boobies, but that boobies were all right too, I suppose. And then the other thing that I got, also on brand, is this. So this is the art book for God of War Ragnarok. It's the Ultimate Edition, the Fancy Pants Edition. So this came from my housemate Ange, which is lovely. It comes in this big honking box, and there's the big book inside, all foiled, and it's just beautiful. Like look at that. Oh, all the art. When you're a giant God of War dork like me, and like one of the things you just absolutely adore the game for is its art. This is a biggie, but you know, it's the game, it's the lore, it's the art, it's everything about it. It's beautiful. Two absolutely incredible nerdy ass presents, and I absolutely love them. Because yeah, obviously Valhalla rolled credits on that over the break. So I think I don't remember if I finished it in the last episode. Did I?
You better have, because you used it as your game of the year.
I did. Yeah, I totally did. Yeah, I did finish it. That's right. I don't remember. Times is the thing. So I had gone back to that a little bit to try like sort of keep going and get as much of the story as I could, because there is always more. However, weirdly, I returned to a game, and I don't know why, that I hadn't played in the last 3 years. And I went, why not? Why not? It had a big old update recently. Their 2.0, Cyberpunk 2077. So I did play it at launch. A big thank you to the team over at Bandai Namco Australia for providing us the review code. At launch on PlayStation, it was shit. Absolutely shit. So I went, I'm not playing this. And I put it away. And then with the announcement, as you sit in your Cyberpunk share, might I add, with the announcement of the 2.0 update, I was like, maybe I'll give this a go. Maybe I'll go back. So I downloaded it after the 2.0. I haven't downloaded the Phantom Liberty yet, the DLC. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to give this a go. And it just sat on my PlayStation, just sat there and as I waited. Even when I transferred to the PS5 Slim, it still went with the transfer. I was like, oh yeah, Cyberpunk. Okay. Okay. Never did it. And then out of nowhere over the break, I went, you know what? I was going to play Grand Theft Auto 5. I was going to do some more of the online stuff, and then I kind of didn't. And I was like, well, clearly I'm wanting some sort of open worldy, shooty car sort of thing. So Cyberpunk was the choice. And it's pretty good. It's like frustrating that it's good now. I say that because I shat on it pretty hard at the time, fairly so, because at the time it wasn't very good, and I would still argue that CD Projekt Red as level of a shitty manipulative studio as any other gaming studio. They did nothing but spew lies and you know, all through the release of Cyberpunk and post. But to their credit, it only took them 2 years after it initially released. They have got it into a great position. The game looks great. It plays great. The streets are finally full of NPCs. There's cars around that aren't yours. That's awesome. Like there's the addition of like vehicle combat, which I could have swore was in the original, but turns out it wasn't. So that's fascinating. The performances are good, like the same. So the character of Jackie or Jackie Wells, which is the friend that you as the player, meets. Their story is still tragic, and it still hit me as hard as it did the first time, which was lovely. I'm admittedly a lot further now than I was the first time I played it. It was honestly easy to just lose time to it. Like for me, I don't tend to really hammer down into one game often just because ADHD is a bitch. But I found myself just thinking about this, playing this, just giving it everything. I'm not doing a lot of the cybernetic-y sort of stuff. I am just kind of playing it as I am. It's just me, and I go and I upgrade my guns. I am playing it very traditional, open worldy sort of adventure game, action game. I haven't done too much of the cyberpunk aesthetic specific stuff. But I am really enjoying it. I'm enjoying all the side quests. I redid the Delamain side missions, which is all about the sentient car. So that was a ton of fun to do again. Just because it's just interesting, especially now in a world with like AI having such high prevalence. It's cool. It's very, very cool. And as you mentioned a minute ago, Max, you've now re-downloaded it.
Yeah, I certainly have.
So obviously you've had that pullback as well. What's enticed you to jump in?
I mean, it was mainly just you talking about it. I've always wanted to go back. It was one of my most look forward to games when it was releasing, and it really was such a shame that that it launched to such poor, putting it mildly, poor performance, and so hopefully now I can go back, enjoy it. I do like CD Projekt Red games. I do like open world RPGs. I do like the Cyberpunk theme. I love everything everything that it has to offer, but it was just wrapped in such shitty wrapping paper when it launched that it kind of turned me off. So hopefully...
So how far did you get into it the first time around?
Fairly far. Probably 8-10 hours, I think.
Okay, well, yeah, so I'm certainly past that now, certainly. Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, obviously the Idris Elba stuff, Phantom Liberty, also has my attention too. But what's interesting about the DLC is it's weirdly positioned about midway through the campaign.
Well, you can launch it from the start and play it entirely on its own.
Okay, oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, so I might just push through the main, finish it off, and then go back to it. I'm still feeling it because I hear the performance is pretty fantastic. But yeah, like I can't really explain what it is that's pulling me through. I think it is that it is quite character driven as well. Especially when it takes the better part of 4.5 hours to even get to the splash screen. The entire first 5 hours is just building on your character, building a relationship with Jackie, then building up to the heist that kind of initiates everything. Like that's a long time just to set up everything. And it really feels like the world is fleshed out, it's expanded. Like it feels living now, which didn't really the first time. But there are things that were still there in the first time I played it, like the likes of Misty and Jackie and the Wells and Deshawn and all these little characters they've had. Like, even though some of them had very short moments, like they felt fleshed out. They felt like they existed in the world and that they had presence. So I really enjoyed spending a bit more time with it than I did last time. Actually, a lot more time with it than I did last time. And just having it run and be a functional game is certainly a big positive for it. What else have I been checking out? Oh, we can't talk about it in terms of detail, but we can mention that we are playing Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, which is the next game, the latest game to be coming out from Ubisoft. That is coming out later this month. We will be having an episode of More the Players, the PopC PlayStation Podcast Extra, dropping on the embargo, which is January 12. So you'll hear all our thoughts about that game. But speaking of games that are going back to, like Cyberpunk, you went back to another game.
Yeah, I went back to a few games over my break. So I dabbled in Grand Theft Auto 5. When it went free on PlayStation Plus Extra, I got my dad to install it. I'm like, hey,
Oh yeah, how's your dad? Before you get into that, how's your dad's gaming life going?
They're still chugging away at It Takes Two. They are, for those who have played it, they are in the clock tower at the moment. So they're getting there. They lose track of time when playing it. I was talking to Mum the other night, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm making dinner." She's like, "Really? It's a bit early." I'm like, "It's 5:30." She's like, "Oh, we've been playing PlayStation for 5 hours." Whoops.
Is your mum suddenly sort of understanding, like, the pull it had on you when you were growing up? I doubt that she'll admit to, like, "Oh yeah, I get it," because parents won't do that. But like,
it's funny. So the other day, I had a Facebook memory pop up, and I sent it to Mum because it was something like, "Oh, here it is." It was right around the time that Final Fantasy 13 came out, so back in 2010, and I posted on Facebook, "I'm keen as been to play Final Fantasy 13. Worst mistake of my life. But Mum's comment was, stop buying games, save your money, and get a life. I'm like, oh, how the tables have turned.
Oh, did you pull that out and give her shit?
Yeah, I sent her, I screenshot it and sent her, I'm like, look at me now, co-host of a subpar podcast and no longer pays for games.
And look at you buying games like a dork and enjoying them, Mum.
So yeah, they've been playing VR lately. They've been playing a lot of Beat Saber. I mean, like, wow, DLC is really expensive. I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
$3 a pop for songs.
Oh yeah. But yes. Strangers of Paradise.
So yeah, I was playing Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise along with Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm like halfway through the story of Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm replaying the story because
how are you finding it now?
I didn't play the story content on PS5. I didn't upgrade my copy to the PS5 version. I just got the PS5 version of online. It's real good.
So like when I went back and played it again on PS5, I did it all in first person, just to because I could. Changes the game completely, by the way. Completely.
I'm sure it does. Betcha makes it worse, too.
It makes it really confronting, actually.
Are you okay?
Oh, we got wife check.
I'm just making sure she's okay. I think both the kids are asleep now. Just making sure she's all right now.
Yeah. She's going to go have a wine and a cigarette. She doesn't do either of those things normally, but she is today.
But yeah, GTA is just more GTA. Like, the game's still good. There's a reason why it's still the powerhouse that it still is after 30 years on the market. Or it feels like 30 years on the market. And yeah, as for Strangers of Paradise, I played it back in, I believe, February of last year when it launched. Shout out again to Bandai Namco Australia. I actually played it as part with Player 2 with Paul James and one of his associates, whose name for the life of me I cannot remember.
Maybe it's Steven. I think it was Steven.
Possibly. And I got about halfway through it at the time when we did our chat. So I revisited it. All the DLCs are now out. I played through all of the DLCs. I've now finished the game on the hardest difficulty.
Jesus Christ.
I got my average gear score from like all the way up to like 400 and something. I've beaten all the bosses now. It's a Souls-like, but it's Neo. It's Neo with a Final Fantasy skin. 'Cause it's by Team Ninja. It's by the guys who did Neo. It's very much plays exactly like Neo, where you're essentially putting on pieces of gear that slightly raise the numbers of all the stats that you need for the class that you're playing. But unfortunately, in the end game, you have to have the perfect builds to be able to do anything. Like, you have to really use meta builds. You have to really max out certain skills. Otherwise, you just get one shot by enemies.
Okay.
So I think I'm done with it. I'm happy with where I'm at. The story took a turn that I could kind of see coming, but it was cool. Yeah, I'm glad I went back and finished it.
Yeah. So how does it fit for you in terms of like Final Fantasy-ness?
It's not a it's a weird pick because the storyline for it is it's supposed to be like this retelling of Final Fantasy, like the original Final Fantasy with the Warriors of Light and all that. But every level you go to is from a different Final Fantasy game.
Okay.
So like the first level is a Pirate Cove, which is clearly a riff on Sestasha, which is a dungeon in Final Fantasy 14 online. And then there's, there's an underwater research facility that you go to, which is clearly the submarine dock from Final Fantasy 7. And you just go to these different locations to do these quests, and essentially you're trying to restore the purity of the 4 elemental crystals because chaos has taken over and has warped the crystals and all that stuff. So you, as a warrior of light, you're trying to bring back the light and repel the darkness and all that fun stuff. to repeat the cycle. So it's a hard sell to be like, hey, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, this game's for you, because it's probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not soulsy enough to be like, this is a Soulsborne game. You should play it regardless of what the story is. It's that weird. It's a very niche.
Yeah, it did seem like it sat in a real weird space
where you kind of have to be a fan of both for it to click.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then the other game that I've been playing is I finally came and took custody of our shared child.
You did? You got the PSVR 2?
So I picked up the PSVR 2 and I played a little bit of Firewall Ultra.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, PlayStation Australia, for that one.
It's not for me.
Okay, how so? So give it a bit of a rundown for those that may not know what Firewall Ultra is, and then also why it isn't for you.
So Firewall Ultra is a team-based VR shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I hadn't played VR in a very long time, so I will go back and visit this now that I've been playing VR a bit more. But I got real bad motion sickness from playing it.
Okay, yeah, I imagine it would be a little bit.
I got real bad motion sickness. So when you start up the game, you essentially do what almost every Call of Duty has done in the past, where you run like
the training course where you got
you run the boot camp, you throw the grenades, you shoot the guns, you do the flashbangs, you run through the doors, you shoot all the things that pop up. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Shooting wise, it shoots well. The game feels great, but yeah, for whatever reason, and again, it could be purely the fact that I haven't played VR in a long time. I was just getting horrendous motion sickness from it. I barely made it through the training program before I'm like, I need to take a break and step away. So I haven't gone back yet. But I will, because I want to give it a fair go. The other game in VR that I've been playing is the classic Beat Saber. Mm-hmm. Just to try and get my legs back. I downloaded the demo of Demio, which is the tabletop RPG simulator. I think I'm going to purchase that game. That game was rad. You sit at the table, you roll your dice, you move your minifigure, you fight It's cool. It's everything you kind of want in a tabletop RPG without, actually having the tabletop RPG. It looked cool. Some of the movement options were a bit jank. It was to like move the camera around the table. It wasn't just like grab and move. It was grab and twist, and the twisting motion wasn't quite working the way it was saying that it should. And the last VR game that I've been playing is the Foglands.
Yes, this was an interesting one. This popped up I was going through Keymailer, which is a website that you can use if you are a content creator, and be like, oh, what games are we interested in checking out? And it caught my interest because it was like a roguelike VR game, and obviously you're a huge fan of roguelikes. I had just been playing Valhalla. I was like, oh, why not? I haven't played it yet because you still got the VR, but how'd it go?
So I've done 2 runs so far. So the premise of this game is it's a sci-fi western.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think this was originally shown at a State of Play.
Yeah. And the big gimmick is there's a fucking gigantic rockworm living underneath your settlement, and it's destroying the settlement. So your job is to go down and fuck it up.
Okay, that's fair.
That's the thing. So you do your first cycle, you inevitably die, you get pulled onto the train where you meet the collector, I think his name is. Basically he's just a fucking creepy dude in a big black hat. He's the character on the thumbnail.
He's in the Kia, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, I'm going to keep bringing you back until you get the job done. Once you get the job done, I'm going to let you die. Mm-hmm. He's like, you will not be immortal forever. This is, when you have a purpose to serve, I'm going to help you. Here are the cards, and he flashes you a bunch of cards, which have all your like stat upgrades and stuff. So essentially what you do is you start the run at a kiosk, and you're like, hey, I want to buy some weapons. Your pistol is always free. You're always guaranteed a pistol. Mm-hmm. You can buy other equipment like grenades, stuff like that. All the things that you can normally purchase in like shooting roguelites. You go down and you do the run. Each room is different. Each run is different, and then you essentially what you're trying to find are purple lockboxes. The purple lockboxes contain the cards with the upgrades on them, and you get to pick 3. So pick one of 3. The game shooting is great, but its melee combat is horrendous. So, like every VR game that has shooting, it has you run like a tutorial area where it's like, this is how you pick up objects, this is how you shoot, this is how you throw objects, this is how you punch. So essentially there's a boarded up door that you need to punch. And it took me so long to just punch the planks off because it wasn't there was no hit registration because you have to take your thumbs off the thumb pad to punch. So you can't move or look at the same time as punching, which is really, annoying.
Interesting. Okay.
So the gameplay.
So I know with the additional of like the in finger buttons that you can use that to grip, etc.
To always have the in finger button held down to hold your gun.
Yeah.
Gun's not magnetized. You always have to be holding the gun. The second you let that go, your gun fucking drops. Which is fine. The reload function's easy. You hit the triangle button because it's like a magnum pistol. It comes down and then you flick it back up and it'll automatically reload as you flick it up.
Because with like Resident Evil 8, I haven't played 4 yet, but I've got it downloaded ready to go once the VR returns. Yeah, you've got to pop the clip and put it in and slide it back. It's fun.
That's cool. But yeah, as soon as you run out of ammo, you have to punch. And punching's not great. You can throw objects at the enemies, and it does something that I really like with the throwing. Because throwing in a lot of games in VR can be kind of jank. It's kind of hard to aim. This uses the eye tracking. Wherever you're looking, it doesn't matter how you use the throw function. You're gonna fucking yeet it right where you're looking, which is great. Because like you have to throw bottles across rooms to hit targets to lower doors and stuff. So it'd be really frustrating if you couldn't hit it. So yeah, like I said, I've done 2 runs so far. I haven't gotten very far in either of my runs. It looks great. It feels great. I turned off that 45-degree snap turn and just put smooth turning on. But yeah, it plays really well so far. There's a lot of NPCs in it that kind of have story beats to it, which is kind of cool. It's very interesting for a roguelite to have that kind of. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'll drop the VR back sometime this week and I'll let you have a bell because it is very fun. Yeah, because I am keen to give that a run. It does look appealing, and what you've explained to me then, even with the jank of the punching, I'm like, oh, I still want to check this out because yeah, similar to Resident Evil 4 VR. It just looks fun. Except the last time I did play VR, I played, the last 2 times I played Resident Evil 8 Village, and I thought my insides wanted to become my outsides. I nearly died. The second one was Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, which also made me want to vomit and die. And both of them were out of nowhere too. It wasn't like, oh, you fell and then you got unwell. It was just like, you feel sick now. I was like, oh, gross. Which is interesting. But no, we'll be sure to check that out. So big thank you to the team for providing us that review code. We will have more to say as we go. Right now, in Australia, it's warm as shit. Like, I'm sweating profusely in this room right now. I've had my air conditioner running for like 3 days straight. Yeah, so to like strap a VR to our heads is a bold strategy. But we'll be sure to spend some more time with it. One of the other things, like with the addition of God of War Valhalla, and like roguelikes were never really a genre or that I really cared for. But I was open to them and I've tried them and I'm enjoying them. So I think Death's Door was the one that really made me go, oh, and then Hades, I was like, oh, but Hades 2 this year. Oh yeah. What caught my interest over the break as well is I went back and played Cuphead. Now, mind you, I haven't played Cuphead since like 2017. Easy. Right? Well, at least like a long ass time ago. And I've come a long way as a person in that time.
I have some days I have a lot more control over my emotional well-being than I did previously, and I now have medication to assist with that. Shout out to ADHD and Ritalin. So I was like, I'm gonna play this in my peak Ritalin window, like right in the middle of the day. The meds are kicking in hard. Let's give it a go, and I did so much better. And it's one of those things where, like, I remember playing it X amount of times ago, and Buddy Watts in the chat, Cuphead slaps, great game. It most certainly is. I don't know what it is, like whether I've just come further as a game player in the last couple of years, or my patience has gotten better, or the medication, I'm not sure.
Are you finally implying that you've gotten good?
Oh, no, I've not gotten good. I've gotten better. Not gotten good.
Gotten adequate.
Yeah, and it was just like, I was got into the motion of it really quickly. I read the just the sequence of the bosses better than I had before, which is better than me explaining it right now, of course, because it's late and I don't have medication in me right now. But yeah, and I got back into the swing pretty good. I enjoyed it. I still love the style. I still love the whole setup of it. And I think for me and my own personal, like, oh yeah, that's rad, was me essentially going, oh, I died again. Okay, let's go again. So, and like, I don't have that like, fucking, that I would have like years ago where I want to just like give up and go, fuck this game, I'm out. Didn't have it. If I was to play it right now, I totally would have that response. But like, in good brain window, the game rules. Absolutely rules. Buddy Watson, now you need to funnel that energy into your 2024 draft picks. Yes, we'll get into that in just a sec before we start the news. What else have I been checking out? I went back into my son. We have been watching Jurassic Park movies again with him. He's never really seen them, so we've been watching them. And then from there, we pulled out Jurassic World Evolution. So we did a little bit of theme park building for Jurassic Park. That was fun. That game still rules. What else have I been playing? We booted up Midnight Suns again today. Marvel's Midnight Suns. So with my son, spending a lot of time playing Spider-Man 2.
Sorry, for some reason I had Midnight Club in my mind. I'm like, damn, that's a fucking weird game to pull.
Yeah, my son likes Spider-Man, so I played Midnight Club just to confuse him. So he's been playing Spider-Man 2 a lot, which is just as he always does. So for Christmas, I got him a copy for his house, so he can play Spider-Man 2 at home. So he's now finished the game no less than 7 times without New Game Plus, because it's not out yet. He's recently discovered photo mode. So over the last couple of days here, and a couple of days at his mum's, he has just been fucking around in photo mode. So he's been taking photos of, cool little scenes when he's fighting people or when he's swinging across the city. And like, no joke, they're actually pretty good. Like, legitimately really good. Like, I think he's played the game so much that he just seems to nail how like Spider-Man works or what makes a good shot, because it's almost just innate that he's like, oh, I'm going to put the camera here. Oh, if I do this or I capture it at this time, it'll look like this. And then on top of that, he's picking, good suits that are visually appealing, like some that have a lot of neon. And so he'll find a shot that's in the dark and then kind of take a photo of it when it's in the dark and to sort of get that neon pop, and is dope. So like, I'm just sort of supporting him the best I can and being like, yeah, man, let's take 1,000 photos, fill my console up, let's go. So that's been fun, and hopefully when New Game Plus drops this month or next, we'll run through it again, because I'm sure he will. But yeah, that's why I went to Midnight Suns. I was like, well, let's play a different Marvel game. And then because he hasn't played a lot of RTS, especially your what's Virtuous made in the past, or what are they known for? XCOM, thank you. Especially XCOM stuff. So I was the controller, and we would plan, like, what do you want to do? We only played like a couple of things just because he got distracted by my partner's cat, which I'm pretty sure he's still playing with the cat right now. He's been obsessed with that cat all day. He's been chasing it around the house. It's adorable. So he'd be like, well, how do we do it? He's like, oh, well, let's punch that one, and then we'll knock, judge by the cards that you pull. Well, let's knock that person into that person. Okay, cool. And then he got really excited by Fallen Venom. Just visually, it's very cool. So that was fun. I might keep going at that a little bit. I never finished it for whatever reason. At the time, I think it got distracted by something shiny. So that was pretty fun. So I did enjoy that. Still played more House Flipper. I've now completed the pets and the luxury DLC. And I did get myself the big farm DLC as well. Just so I've been doing a bit of house flipping farming as well. That's all good times. But that's pretty much all the games we've been playing. Is there anything else you've been jumped into, Max, or is that pretty much it?
Pretty much it.
Damn, a long chat about the games. Before we get into the section about the news. Buddy in the chat mentions funnel that energy into your 2024 draft picks. Okay, so normally the first episode of the year is our 2024 draft. However, because we had to catch up on some stuff that happened at the back end of last year, plus all the games we've been playing over the break, we will instead be having that kicking in next week. So posts will be going up across our social media this week that's like, hey, let us know the game. So for those that may be new or may not remember how it works, essentially, Max and I will do a Metacritic draft based on video games, and each of us would pick 8 each. So we need a minimum of 16 games. Now, the catch is we can only pull from the games list that is given to us. So we go out to our communities, whether it be on Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram and barely use, or in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can DM us your suggestions. We will make a pool, and we can only pull from that. So for whatever reason, if no one said Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we couldn't use it. But we would. We put it in there because that's silly. But no, that's the idea. The gimmick is that we can only pick what's given to us. So we'll be doing that next week. And we'll be going through our picks. Now, Max, you are currently... So it's 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 at the moment. And I think you're on... Because we've done 3? 4?
4. I think we're 2 apiece.
We're 2 apiece. So you are coming in as a defending champion, coming off last year, which is lovely. Congratulations again. I shat the bed so hard. But I'm keen to hopefully not shit the bed this year. I did pick a lot of indies last year under suggestion of Buddy, which paid off poorly for me. No, I just picked shitty ones. I relied on Destiny. Silk Song didn't come. Suicide Squad didn't deliver or arrive, so that was fun. You got some of the basic ones like your Spider-Mans, etc. that really worked for you.
I think your highest was Resi Evil. No, I think did I get it? I can't even remember now.
I don't remember.
But
all I know is I lost. The second that I lost, I went, fuck this game. I don't care anymore. So that's a big part of that. But so yeah, that's cool. But now let's get into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week and since December in the world of PlayStation.
Well, we'll kick things off as we always do. Now, these have been out since last Tuesday, but your January essentials are A Plague Tale Requiem PS5, Evil West PS5, PS4, and Nobody Saves the World PS5, PS4. That's an easy start to the...
I've already claimed them because even though I haven't finished Plague Tale Innocence because mice are gross and scared the poo out of me, I would like to play this at some point. Because it did look fantastic. Evil West, I heard good shit about. Like, very PS2 sort of energy, which is interesting. And Nobody Saved the World, I've heard, is good. But I probably won't check it out.
But let's kick things off with some market manipulation. Oh, this is so good. I chuckled when I saw this article. So France's antitrust regulator, the Autorité de la Concurrence, has handed Sony a fine of 13.5 million euros, about 14.8 million US, after finding that it has used its dominant position to corner the market, specifically in the realm of third-party PlayStation 4 controller manufacturing. So the Competition Policy International reported that the Autorat del Concurrent said that Sony's implemented technical measures made it extremely hard for third-party controller manufacturers to compete. The body found that the only controllers that reliably work on a PS4 were Sony's DualShock 4 and other officially licensed controllers. Several issues, including frequent disconnections, plagued all others. The Autorat claims that Sony deliberately made guidelines for licensing controllers for the platform vague, leaving third-party manufacturers in the dark. The body slammed Sony for the lack of its transparency in its licensing program, alleging it, quote, applied the criteria in a discretionary manner even though access to the program was the only way to avoid disconnections. Sony has yet to respond to the ruling and may choose to appeal. They full-on iPhoned the shit out of it.
Look, this is interesting. So, it's funny. When you initially sent me this article, I looked at it and I was like, I can't remember the last time that I bought a controller that wasn't an official controller. Like, would have had to been PS2 days. But even then, like, we were very lucky during the PS4 generation where we reviewed a number of controllers. We reviewed the Thrustmaster, the eSwap, the Razer Raiju. There was another one, and then you had your...
I had a Scuff controller.
You had a Scuff, and then of course the DualSense Edge. You know, but they're all licensed by PlayStation, so they work. So I didn't even think about there being unlicensed because even
gone are the days of the fucking Mad Catz Turbo Elite.
Well, it's one of those things because if you go to like PAX as an example, which we did, and you look at all the stalls, many of them. Like, let's use PDP as an example, or Power A. They only have Switch and Xbox. There's no PlayStations. Now we know why. Well, I'm sure we knew why before, but like it wasn't until you sent me this and I went, oh, okay, fascinating. But yeah, no, it is interesting. It's yeah, it is very similar to Apple's. Your battery doesn't work now because we've clocked it. You know, Buddy goes too many to merch. I hate it, which makes sense. So Buddy works at a tech distribution, retail store. So I imagine all the different variants. Because if you go to stores like EB Games, JB Hi-Fi, etc., like you look at the Xbox controllers, there's a fucking shelf of them, but PlayStation is like hits this section, and it's predominantly licensed. So, but how do you think that is going to have to go? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that.
I mean, realistically, $15 million is probably nothing.
Well, not even that, but it's just like they can contest it and then make it more.
They'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, as I've just scrolled down a little bit, I've noticed you've not put the Insomniac stuff in there. We're just going to touch
on
it.
No, I haven't. We can touch upon it. I mean, we all know what leaked.
Yeah.
It's no fucking secret, but yeah. I didn't, yeah.
All right, but before then, let's get into, as you the first press conference of the year is underway. So Sony's first press conference of 2024 is just days away at time of recording, but perhaps we shouldn't be putting our expectations too high. The Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, will get underway next week, and as is always the case, the Japanese giant will host its own press conference. Now, commonly, it's not just PlayStation, it's normally Correct. Sony as a collective. So they'll talk TVs, Walkmans, probably not, but why not? Maybe they'll come back. Sony Ericsson, bring it back. Why not? Fuck it, let's go. But they touch upon PlayStation at least a little bit from a more hardware-centered space. So, as you mentioned, while we'd expect references to PlayStation, the focus on the event will, quote, showcase various technologies and initiatives that support creators based on Sony's purpose to fill the world with emotion through the power of creativity and technology, end quote.
So again, the other reason why this is in here is because last year they did announce the accessibility controller at CES.
That was Project Leonardo at the time.
Yeah, and they demoed the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's probably nothing new in the works that they're going to show off. Obviously, we know that there's the line of their bloody headphones and earbuds and all that stuff, but we know about all that stuff. They're coming soon, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, because like with that in mind, like I'm sitting here thinking like, what could they do? And yeah, I completely forgot about like the Audis, you know, those.
Is this where they're like, this is the fucking Pro? Get ready, everybody. You just upgraded to the Slim. Here's the Pro. You got to sell that piece of garbage now and get the new one.
That was my thought. Like my thought is it the PS5 Pro time? Like we've had rumors up the bumhole about this. It has technically been 3 years since it dropped. We're heading into its 4th year. That is the round about the time we saw the PS4 Pro. However, the circumstances are very, very different. They might say that we're working on it, but it's not going to be like coming out this year or anything. But saying that the rumors are so, frequent at the moment, is that just traction within the game space? Because no one's really said anything. You have people like, Tom Henderson, etc., being like, hey, I'm hearing this. But like, as you mentioned, with just the release of the Slim, PlayStation Portal coming to Australia next month, they've had the Pulse Explore earbuds go out last year, the Pulse new headsets coming. PlayStation have really nailed themselves down as this boutique-y technology company. They've done it in how the design choices that they've made, how they're releasing products that are clearly designed for niche parts of their audience. Is the PS5 Pro the next thing? I don't know. Part of me wants to say cool, but I did just sell my PS5 for a Slim. Am I going to get a Pro now? Probably not. But that's me. But there are people that still, they are selling PS5s like crazy. Still.
Yeah, so they just hit over 50 mil sold.
Yeah.
Outselling Xbox 3-1.
So if they're still selling like that, why do that now? Like, normally you should be dropping that once it starts to decline. So give it another year, give it another 18 months.
Because there's always someone out there who wants that newest, latest, best, who wants to have the top of top end and will upgrade.
And that's normally me. But, I bought the PS4 as it launched X amount of years ago, but I was living in a dual income household at the time. I live on a single income, and I'm poor. And shit's really expensive because a whole financial crisis happened. So that was awesome. In a pandemic. So like, I'm not rushing out to buy a PS5 Pro. I like the idea of it, but I also would argue that we haven't fucking nailed the PS5 yet. Like, the potential of what this console should have delivered isn't being met. We're not getting we've only just started making like they're not making multi-generational games anymore. That's just happened.
I want to also point out, it says 8K on the box.
Yeah, it's 8K potential, but we are barely getting 4K. Barely. And and that will only happen now that they don't have to cater to the last gen. Give it another 18 months at least. They can announce it in a year, give it 18 months. At least see what proper next gen games can be. I understand from an R&D perspective, etc., that they've invested all this money in the Pro. Like, it does need to get a return at some point, but it's too soon. Too soon.
Maybe they should just release the Pro version as its base version next time and not have a mid-season update.
Yeah, but then it's not a Pro, is it? It's just a regular version.
It should be the Pro. Like, this is what you want.
But then again, my other suggestion was going to be, why don't they just do what Xbox did and release like the S and the X? Saying that though, apparently, even though PlayStation is currently selling more PlayStations from, as you mentioned before, a 3-1 on Xbox, the market share of Xbox compared to its 2, no one's buying Series X's. Everyone is buying S's.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. So the idea of, here's a Pro model and here's like a base entry one, and as Buddy in the chat says, the S is trash. It is. It's fucking shit. It doesn't have the potential to run everything at the specs at which it should. It is digital only. Like, it's just a glorified Game Pass machine, and there is no reason. I think there was something recently where I think Phil Spencer was like, "Oh yeah, we have no interest in doing a mid-gen refresh because you're not selling any fucking consoles." Like, it's not about you, like, once again, we're talking the console that had the teraflops, Max.
Well, that's the rumor from Jeff Grubb, is that they're not doing a mid-season update. They're just going to launch their next-gen console 2 years before Sony.
And no one will get it because they've got no games. But then again, I can say the same about PlayStation. They've also got no games. Like, aside from what we know is coming, which is Wolverine at some point.
And the rest of the Insomniac linked games.
Yes. But I mean, like, what the fuck else is coming?
Oh, Sony Bender's apparently cooking, according to their Twitter post.
That has me excited because I really enjoyed Days Gone, right? Like, so I'm sitting here thinking, what are they going to do next, right? So, the God of War will likely go quiet because that's done and dusted. Spider-Man 2 just released. We may, we'll talk that in a moment. What Insomniac are doing. Naughty Dog are releasing Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, not a new game. Polyphony are kind of quiet because they just released Gran Turismo 7 and they don't do shit outside of Gran Turismo. Like, if you look at all, and then you've got, like, Fair Games and etc. like all coming, but like that ain't this year. And like, and then you look over at what Guerrilla are doing, and you're like, well, you did Forbidden West last year. You gave us Burning Shore. Oh, no, sorry, the year before. You gave us Burning Shores. That was cool. You gave us Call of the Mountain. That wasn't you, though. That was Fire Sprite. So, what are you doing? Because we know you want to exploit the fuck out of that Horizon IP.
Doing that Netflix show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Emmys were on today, so we'll get into the quick bits.
Yeah. The Emmys were on today, so let's do the quick bits.
No. We'll get into the quick bits because there's some related stuff.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so live server stuff. So speaking of Guerrilla,
I gave you the best fucking in.
I don't care.
And you're like,
I refuse to use it. No. Okay. So fans of Guerrilla's ever-growing Horizon franchise, the long-rumored MMORPG spin-off Project Skyline is apparently still in active development. However, there is nothing to suggest that it's actually coming to PlayStation 5 outside of being a Horizon game. It is expected to launch on PC and mobile in 2025 at its earliest.
And PS4, I think.
No, the only listed titles, the only listed platforms for it are PC and mobile currently.
Ouch.
According to a video game researcher, Kurikastas, who's compiled a bunch of compelling tidbits and posted them to Twitter, was subsequently picked up by Eurogamer. Kurikastas posits that the project started back in 2021 using former NCSoft employees, resumes on LinkedIn and Facebook to construct a timeline, and that 140 people worked on it as recently as September in 2023. Further, we get a potential name as well as a logo courtesy of the company's domain registration records, quote, Land of Salvation. Kurikastas shows a job description highlighting the skills the company is seeking and glaringly indicates that the game is currently only being developed for PC and mobile.
So, I remember there was some footage that went around of this alleged Horizon MMO. We've seen it. I want to play it. On my mobile? No, I'm playing on my mobile. I'm playing on my fucking PlayStation because...
Oh, you could play your PlayStation Portal. Oh, wait, no, you couldn't because it only fucking share remote play.
Still keen to check that out, by the way. Hey, PlayStation Australia, I know you don't watch, but like, Shannon Grixey got his the other day. Fantastic, fucking love it. I love to see it. Has me really excited to check it out. I think Padge has organised one. Look, I'm going to fucking WA for the WWE Elimination Chamber. I want to take the Portal with me, and I want to test it. I want to see, can I take it to a different state? And I travel every month, at least every fucking 3-4 weeks for work. I want to see how it runs if I take it with me interstate and I leave my console here in Geelong. I would love to test it out. And it would also be fun just to play in bed. Because the Backbone's cool, but it fucking sucks at the same time. But yeah, so like a Horizon MMO, big win. I'd keen to check it out. NCSoft, what did they do? My brain says Grand Blue Fantasy, but that ain't it.
No, they did Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars. I've heard so many good things about Guild Wars 2. I remember back in the day, my mate was like,
yeah,
and it's like, you got to fucking play Guild Wars 2. I'm like, I don't fucking playing PC games, you big dork. You're an MMO dude from.
I play Guild Wars 2.
Are you keen? Does any of this get you keen?
As soon as it said mobile, I'm like,
yeah. To me, it makes me think of
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact. I'm like,
Star Rail. Any game that I can play with fucking mobile people at the same time on my console.
Yeah. I'd imagine the reason they've not mentioned a console is because they don't know whether it's going to run on PS4 or PS5 yet.
Hey, if it fucking runs on a mobile, it should run on anything.
Yeah. True.
There's no excuse for it to not run on a fucking PlayStation console if my fucking Sony Ericsson can run it.
All right, let's get into those quick bits. Now, as I mentioned, so the Emmys happened today, and the Last of Us HBO series won a handful. Now, there's 2 nights, apparently, a night 1 and a night 2. So in night 1, we saw 8. The big winner of night 1 was 8 awards. There we go. So they won the following. They won. Where are we? Outstanding prosthetic makeup for the episode Infected, which is I think when they did the clickers essentially, right? So that was a pretty big one. They also won, as I'm scrolling down the list because I didn't just pop a list. Outstanding special visual effects, which makes sense because there was some good CG. I appreciate that because not just like the clickers themselves.
Having seen behind the kimono, there was some fucking great CG.
So for those who may not remember, we were very kindly provided early screeners from the team at HBO and Binge. So we saw it pre-visual effects, and then watching it, seeing the clips later. Holy shit. Like, we saw a literal scene where Bella Ramsey's walking through snow. She's walking towards a big blue screen. That's what we saw. And, like, this final episode where they see the giraffe, we saw a dude with a helmet and a fake giraffe head on with reference shots. It really took the emotional impact away. So to, like, see that and go, wow. But even then, it's not just those little things. Like, the visual effects that they use to make the world feel more lived in and, like, fucked was a whole next level of impressive. Outstanding main title design went to The Last of Us, which I agree. The main title was dope. Not the versions that we saw, which was placeholder name, placeholder name, placeholder name, placeholder name. Last of Us. Still loved it though. This is no complaints at all.
And our name bouncing around the screen.
Ryan Betson everywhere because of copyright. Outstanding sound editing for a drama series, which was When You're Lost in the Darkness. Outstanding sound mixing for a comedy or drama series with When You're Lost in the Darkness. They also won. Let's see. Outstanding picture editing for a drama series, which was the episode Endure and Survive. Let's see. So outstanding guest actress in a drama series, Storm Reed, won in the episode Left Behind. So I presume that was the girl who played opposite, whose name fucking kills me. Shit. The character's name. Fucking Ellie was fans of her. Oh,
she played Riley.
Riley, thank you. God, my brain just would not let that come out. But the big one, and is probably the most deserving so far, until we hear about night 2, because night 2 will be like drama, best drama series, etc. Nick Offerman won the award for the outstanding guest actor in the episode Long, Long Time. Congratulations, Nick Offerman. One of the best fucking episodes of TV I have seen ever. Well-deserved win. Do you think it's going to get like outstanding drama series?
I don't know. A lot of drama came out last year.
You're a lot of drama.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll find out later. But Dragon's Dogma 2 has released 18 minutes, as you've spelt it, weirdly, worth of new 4K character class gameplay to check out. Did this get you moist in your front area?
Yes. This may be one of my most anticipated games of this year.
Oh.
I'm so keen for Dragon's Dogma.
Exciting. In a video published by Sony of upcoming games this year, Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta are both featured. So they both look to be coming this year, which makes sense. Silent Hill 2 has me really keen, but also Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Delta also looks fucking cool too. Two of Konami's classics dropping this year, which big thumbs up for me. I'm going to play both those, no doubt. CD Projekt Red CEO Adam Kaczynski said, quote, "We are not interested in integrating ourselves into any large entity," end quote. So essentially laying down the law of, hey, we ain't getting acquired. For now. No, they just pretty much said we're not getting acquired, which is fine. Jack Black is Steve.
Yep. Jack Black is playing Minecraft Steve in the Minecraft
I thought
movie.
Jason Momoa was playing Steve.
No, apparently it's Jack Black.
That makes sense. He's way more engaging than fucking Jason Momoa, but okay. And finally, Ben Studio on Twitter has responded with "We cookin'" to a query on how the new IP is going. Yes! Give me some sweet Ben Studio action, because like we talked about this in our Days Gone review back in the day. Like Days Gone felt like a game of a studio learning how to build a next generation game while they were building it. Like the game starts off kind of janky, but it progressively gets better. Like from a developmental, from a storytelling, from a model, from a character, fucking everything about it just gets progressively better as you play the game. And having not made a game since PS2 with Logan Shadow, Siphon Filter, it's awesome. So which has me intrigued to see what their next game is, because they're not jumping from PS2 to PS4 this time. They're going from PS4 to PS5. That leap would be substantially less, but I'm still keen to check it out. You be keen for some more Sony Bend?
I haven't played Days Gone.
What the fuck?
So I don't know. Don't know.
Would you be open to playing Days Gone this year?
I tried playing it last year. No, I tried playing it the year I bought my PS5 because it was part of that pack. And oh boy, is it a slow burn to start. And
it is quite a slow burn, yes.
Yeah. So apparently, rumor has it, Hi-Fi Rush may be coming to other platforms and not just Xbox.
Ah, yeah, I did hear that, and we heard it. So that's interesting. I haven't played it, so be keen to check it out. Microsoft suddenly contemplating dodging this alleged exclusivity.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Now, before we wrap up the show, Max, you did tease at the start a story about shit.
And it would be a show.
Look, I had a shit story this week too. Went to the pool, some kid shat in the pool. Not my kid. We weren't in that pool, thank Christ. But like, there was very much a, hey everyone, can you get out of the pool, please? And then some poor woman having to like straight up scoop a giant ass child-made logs out of the pool. It's gross.
Well, that happened to me the other day, but the kid vomited in the pool and I had to leave. Right. Wasn't my kid that threw up. No, sorry.
Were you in that pool or were you? Because we were in the pool that didn't get the poop in it, but then everyone came into our pool.
We were in the pool that was vomited in, but it was on the other side of the pool.
Oh, smart, lucky.
So we just got straight out.
The funniest part was when they're like, "We've closed the pool," and there's all these little kids that just aren't listening. Because if you want to experience what a bad fucking parent, if you want to experience what a bad parent is, go to a public pool, because the parents and the kids have no disregard for themselves or any fucking one else, right? So there's signs that clearly say pool closed, and I saw some parent go, yeah, and the kid just ran in. And they're like, dude, can you not come in? There's fucking shit in here. And the kid's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And the mom's like, oh, but look, why not? Fucking people.
Yeah, so what happened was I was playing Foglands today, VR.
You shat yourself during VR.
I said to Ali, I'm like, I'm gonna go play some. Ollie's asleep. I'm gonna go play some VR. I need to get some VR time. And she's like, cool, no worries. And then maybe 10 minutes into the run, I hear, oh God, no, stop, please stop. Why is this happening? And I, again, thinking something horrible has happened. I'm taking the handset off, putting it down. And I walk out and yell at her, is everything okay? And she's like, Ali's like, no, it's not. And I walk into Ollie's room. There's shit everywhere. All over his feet, all over his legs, up his back, fucking everywhere. I'm like, I'm gonna go run him a bath. And she's like, yeah. So I get his bath together. We sit him in the bath. Ali cleans him off as best as she can before we get him in the bath. As soon as we get him in the bath, he fucking pisses everywhere in the bath. So we had to dump that water, refill it back up, and it was just like a fucking hot, shitty, pissy mess.
That is the best way to explain to having a baby. It's just a hot, sweaty, pissy, shitty mess.
But the last thing you want to hear when you've got a VR headset on is, oh God, no, why? Please stop.
Yeah, like, did your pants fall down? Like, is there a busted water pipe? You know, is like, what's happening?
Yes, my son's pangus.
And your son's peen just was the busted pipe was his butthole, and he was pooping everywhere. Well, there you go. That's what a perfect way to wrap up the first episode of 2024, discussing exactly what we do in every show, which is us being parents and dick and fart jokes and poop jokes. So, there you go. Well, big thank you to everyone for joining us this year, for the beginning of this year. Now, as I mentioned, we have done all the rebranding, so we would really appreciate if anyone is interested in sharing what we do. Hopefully, by renaming the things as the PlayStation Podcast that it is, we might be able to get some traction. But look, we've been doing this for a long time. We understand that our peak was a number of years ago, but it would be, like 6 years ago at least. And like, we would really appreciate to be able to like have, we're going to keep doing this anyway, but to get some more listeners would be a ton of fun. I am looking at doing some extra stuff within the show, like maybe some shorts, stuff like that. See how I feel about editing and whether I can be bothered. Try to get a little bit more active on the socials, sort of maybe doing some at the time responses to stuff. Like, I know after the Insomniac leaks, which we didn't touch upon here, but we've been going long enough as it is. I did a video and put it up on Twitter and stuff. Maybe some responses like that, just to really focus down on that PlayStation stuff now that I'm clearly going, no, this is what we fucking do. We do PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And I thought that might be fun. And there is only, obviously there's only a couple of us that really do it in this country. And, shout out to our friends over at Explosion Network, with their Platinum Explosion. But, they're really kicking fucking some hardcore goals in the larger gaming space. So, for us, like, while they're running off and doing the big gaming stuff, we're going to niche up and just really continue to focus on PlayStation. And the third one, which I haven't heard from in forever, so good. That Dan Allen's still doing his was at PS5 Central, because even though somehow he got cancelled, he's still around, because that's how it works in games media apparently. So yeah, we'll be around. We're still in the damn thing. We're not cancelled yet. Probably should be, but we're not.
Keep your eyes on socials for next week on the 12th for our episode of More the Players.
Correct. Hoping to do a lot more episodes of More the Players. I did say that in January of last year, and then we didn't do it, mostly because of scheduling. Just got really sort of lazy. And it's just about finding the things that are really worth having that extra discussion about. And
having that lead time as well.
Yeah, so the benefit of Prince of Persia, shout out to the team at Ubisoft, as I mentioned earlier, we've got enough lead time to really pre-make some stuff and have that drop as the embargo goes. So lead time is going to be a big thing. Ubisoft have been fantastic as of late, especially off the back of like Assassin's Creed and Avatar and now Prince of Persia. PlayStation have always been fantastic to us, especially with Spider-Man. So I assume hopefully as more things drop later in the year, like the Rise of the Ronin, etc. Hopefully we can get some early time with those as well. But even then, if like that's on the presumption that we need to release it early or as embargo, I have no issue in doing something post release date as well if it catches our interest. It doesn't have to be that, like, as I said, we're fucking nobodies. No one's gonna watch our shit anyway. But that's at least have some fun with it. Like, this is still one of the things that I adore the most in this world. So I would love to really do more within the availability that I have. Like, it's very unlikely that I'm gonna go back to, you know, weekly streaming or anything, because I just don't have that care. And especially over the last year of bringing gaming back to me and not having to share it on socials has been a big positive for me enjoying games again. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the new year. But yeah, Max, you know what to do.
Well, everybody, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you would like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens over twitch.tv/thepopculturists, we can watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists, as well as our merchandise store, PopCulturists shop. We can buy shirts and other sorted shit with our logos on it. Also, shout out to people that do still support us on Patreon, by the way. We haven't done shit on there, and like, we don't promise we'll do anything on there like ever, and I'm not going to promise that this year either, because I'm not that guy. But yeah, no, holy shit, thank you, really, thank you. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper,
and that was For the Players.